everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Two Nerds and a Podcast.
Welcome, welcome.
This week we are going to be talking about just the overall theme of emo music, emo style, and fashion. Because when you and I feel like it was mainly high school, maybe a little bit of junior high, that the emo thing was a really big phase. Well, for some people, it's not just a phase, but
It's not just a
it's
phase,
not just a
Mom.
phase, Mom. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because, as per usual, when perusing TikTok, for a while on my For You page, there was always like, if you know all of these songs, then you were an emo. And I never had an emo phase. I never did. I was kind of the opposite of an emo because I had a rainbow phase. I wore rainbows and tutus all the time, and that was just a thing. But some of these songs for certain bands, like, I wouldn't have classified as emo music. I would have just classified as what the radio always called alternative.
hmm
But yeah, so I just thought it was funny because apparently my music taste is very emo because I know a lot of the music that comes up.
Emo, so emo.
I know. Just like I never knew this about myself. It's all about the self-discovery. But I mean, you never really had an emo phase either. You have a goth phase, which you're currently in.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know what my phase is. I feel like the typical emo band is MCR, which is like one of my favorite bands. Um,
Yes, like
but I
there's like
never
three kings of, at least when I think of three kings that of emo music, and that's MCR, Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco.
yeah, like original Panic at the
Yeah,
Disco.
like
Like
OG Panic at the Disco,
early
not early,
yeah.
not current Well, I guess they're not together anymore, so they can't be current Panic at the Disco, but like early albums Panic at the Disco. But I feel like if you
Yeah.
knew anything about emo music, you had one of those bands as like your top tier band,
Mhm.
and like everything else was like meh, but you had to have one of those three bands, like no matter who you were.
Yeah, which mine is MCR because I love them.
For me, it's Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do like Fall Out Boy. I love MCR. I have 3 MCR tattoos and then a Gerard Way tattoo, because I love them so much. But, yeah, no, I never, really had, I listened to the music, but,
Hmm.
I didn't not, especially in high school, I didn't really have, an emo looking phase. It wasn't until I was, out of high school and, in my early 20s where I was like, "I wanna dress like this now." Rebel against my parents in my early 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and we went to a teeny tiny little high school in the middle of
Mhm.
nowhere. And so we didn't, I mean, I remember a few people, like one of my friends in high school, she had the big hair and the black eyeliner, and like the all black, but like some color in there occasionally. And there was I
Mhm.
remember, I think he was older than me, maybe by a year or two, but he transferred in from somewhere else. But he was the typical emo boy, tall, skinny, white dude with dox dyed, do- box dyed black hair. I can't say that for whatever reason. and and I feel like there was a couple like at our school, but it was never like a big thing.
No, especially yeah, we went to a itty bitty school.
My graduating class was like 140 people, and we were like the biggest graduating class in like
Yeah.
ever in the history of ever of the entire school. Um, but I also feel like our school was kind of the school that just like if you dressed like that, like it didn't matter. Like I know a lot of
Mhm.
people, especially again, once again on TikTok, um, a lot of people always say they were like picked on for dressing like that, or their parents didn't like when they did that, and but I feel like all of the people that I knew, their parents didn't really care, and
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
at school didn't really care. Like, we were just like, cool, you want to dress like that? Awesome.
Yeah, I feel that. Also, I feel like, especially in the 2005 to, like, maybe 2010, like, I feel like that era of, like, specifically Hot Topic was, like, the
When it was
the
scary.
emo, like, when it had the, like, red arches and, like, the
Yep.
letters, like
Were all jaggedy and weird, and then, like, every time you walked
Yeah,
in, it was just, like, death metal music playing or screamo or something. You're just like, "Okay, you wanna go
and, like,
in
your
this
parents would be
store?"
like, I'm not going in there, but you
Yeah.
can go in there."
Yeah, and you go, "Okay." And then you tell them when you need the
Like,
credit
anytime I
card.
think of yeah, anytime I think of, like, an emo phase, I always think of, like, that era of, like, Hot Topic
For sure.
because it's, like I've always loved Hot Topic. I mean, it's
Yes.
my favorite store and your favorite store.
Mhm.
But, like, especially, like, that era, I'm just like, that was, like, the emo store where you
Yes.
got, like, all your bracelets, all your,
Your
clip-in hair extensions,
Mhm.
your band tees.
Band tees, your, giant parachute pants, anything that had safety pins on
Mhm.
it, pre-ripped stuff, fishnets, like, the you could get the whole 9 yards just in Hot Topic.
I mean, you can definitely can still do that, but, like, now they definitely have more pop culture-y things, but
Yes.
back in the day, it was like
It was its own thing.
but I love Hot Topic regardless. I
Yes.
used to work there, so I
I
love it.
know, because 'cause you're a crazy person. I would never have a paycheck. It wouldn't.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard.
But yeah, I mean, and the music, I mean, again, like emo, like music, like this is one reasons I love Spotify is because you can literally like sort your like liked songs playlist by like emotion, and like 99% of my liked songs are like what they consider angst. And I'm like, I didn't think I was that angsty, but okay. But it's
I
like,
saw a playlist on Spotify the other day that
yeah.
was, like it was called Angst Teenager, and I was like, "I love this. I love this playlist."
You're like, "That's me. I'm a teenager on the inside."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love coming across all the TikToks. They're like, "If you like all of these things, you are an emo." And I'm just like, I like all
You're
of
an
those things,
emo.
but I don't think you would ever be able to tell from the outside that I have emo taste."
Yeah, I think as I got older, like I said, I definitely, like, grew into my emo phase more, like, once I got into my early 20s, that's when I, like, really started to, like, dress I mean, not, like, necessarily emo, but, like,
But more
I
pop,
don't even
like
know. I
punk
like, my style's, like,
kinda.
alternative, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, I grew into it, and now, like, everybody that knows me knows, like, if there's any MCR news or like, I remember when MCR got back together, I think I, like, took a nap or something, and I woke up and I had, like, 10 messages of people being like, "Did you see this?" And I'm like, "What is happening?" Um, so I, like, definitely, like, grew into it, um, and I love, like, all the OG M like, I love, like, MCR's OG albums,
Mhm.
but I also, like, love their new music. I haven't actually listened to any of the new Fallout music, I've heard, like,
Um,
one song from them.
the most recent song Fallout's come out with is they did a newer version of "We Didn't Start the Fire," but it's like the
Okay,
updated
yeah, I have heard
version.
that one.
So good.
Mhm.
But they're going on tour, and I'm trying to think what their actual last album was because I know I've listened to Mania, but that came out a few years ago. And I've listened to, so yeah, I haven't listened to really any of their So Much for Stardust as their most recent album, except from their one song, Love from the Other Side.
I don't know, I just keep seeing videos on TikTok, because I know they're, like, touring, and I keep seeing videos on TikTok of Pete Wentz with long blonde hair, and it
Oh, I
just throws me
know.
off every time I see him. I'm like, "Who is that?" And then I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's Pete Wentz."
Pete
What?
Wentz in my mind will always have dark black hair, and it's gonna be
Yeah, I'm
short
like,
and like
"What?"
spiky messy like that, and his thick eyeliner. But
Yeah.
he's blonde and his hair is he needs a haircut. My
Yeah, I'm like,
dude
"Oh
needs
my
a haircut.
god." Like, yeah, I'm not a fan of the long blonde haired
Mm,
Pete
no.
Wentz. And I'm like, every time I see him, I'm like,
But you
"Who is
forget, yeah.
that?"
So you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, did they replace somebody in the band?" Nope, it's
Like,
just Pete Wentz.
yeah. I'm like, I don't know about that look.
Yeah, ugh.
Yeah, I also love, like, the, like, early two or, like, mid two I guess mid 2000s, like, emo band eyeliner phase,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
I wish we should bring that back, honestly. Like,
No, we
I
should
know that it's
not.
like yes, we should.
No. I look so bad with that much eyeliner on, it's insane.
I mean, I'm definitely, like I've been wearing a lot of eyeliner, and it's because I keep looking at, like, Avenged Sevenfold when they were in their, like, early days, like, their City of Evil days, like,
Mhm.
Sinister Gates wore, like, eyeliner that was, like, dripping down, and then, like, Zachy wore, like, red eyeshadow, and I've been doing a lot of that lately, and I'm like, "I just want it to be 2005 again, please and thank you."
Oh, but yeah, the makeup was always so amazing. That was one thing
Dark.
I always really liked emo makeup because it was always very dark. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I don't think I could get away with. I always feel like if I put on that much like eyeliner or black eyeshadow, I look insane. But like some people just look so cool, and and it's like messy, and it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
perfect. You like literally just like slap it on with your fingers and call it a
Mhm.
day. But the perfectionist in me is just like absolutely not. Like
Yeah, I
you
always
can't
wanna
do this.
do yeah. I wanna do like, I've been wearing, like, a lot more eyeliner, but I keep seeing people that do, like, all these, like, crazy looks with their eyeliner, and I'm like, "I don't know if my work would like that." Like, uh, they might I was pushing it the other day when I wore, like I had, like, red eyeshadow all over, and I was like, "I don't know if they're gonna say anything about it, but, it's fine."
I would not be able to get away with it at work.
Oh, yeah, you
I
wouldn't.
work for a very Christian store, and even though it's not like you have to dress a certain way, but everybody is constantly staring at me when I walk in with any makeup. Because most of the time, the only time I wear makeup to work is if I film a YouTube video before I go to work. I'm always waiting for one of my bosses to go, "Yeah, you're gonna have to." Oh, and the bad thing is we actually sell makeup wipes now. So I'm waiting for the day that somebody just comes and grabs the makeup wipes and goes, "Here, you need to buy these and use them." I'll be
Take
like,
them off.
"Yeah, ugh.
Yeah, that's why I miss working at Hot Topic because, like, you could literally like, the
Whatever."
crazier you looked, like, the
The
better.
better, because then you start
Um,
blending in with the store.
yeah, and, like, they're like, "Oh, yeah, she definitely." I remember, like, one time I went into Hot Topic on my day off, and, like, I just looked how I looked, and somebody
Mhm.
was like, "Do you work here?" I was like, "Yes, but not right now, but
Yes,
I
but
could
not
probably help
today.
you." Like, I just looked like I worked at Hot Topic, like, I
That's
just
so funny.
fit in very well.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh,
Even though,
she's
like, I
got
worked at
dyed
the
hair and tattoos, Hot Topic worker."
yeah, she definitely works here, like, she knows what she's talking about. So, you said your favorite emo band
Mhm.
is Fall Out Boy. Do you have a favorite what's your favorite song from them?
Ooh.
I'm so sorry if you hear that. Hang on a second. Hang on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Gosh, sorry. My dad thinks it's a good time to put the dishes away. Um,
Favorite song. Ugh, there's so many good ones. I think my original favorite song was Sugar We're Going Down,
a classic.
but I think one of their recent songs called Champion is one of my favorite songs. It's one of those songs that I will sing when I feel so extremely happy that I need to like scream sing on my way home from work in the car.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those songs that if I feel extremely like stressed or upset and I need a good cry, I will
It's
sing
versatile.
cry the song. So it covers all of the emotions. There's very few songs that do that for me, and that's one of them. And so I love that song. Um,
We love a versatile song.
we love a versatile song, but I think their album that I like the most songs off of, ooh, it's probably a tie between Save Rock and Roll and American Beauty, American Psycho.
I like Save Rock and Roll. That one's a good one.
And I think both of those albums, I think there might be like one song on each of those albums that I don't have in my like liked playlist. Like I like the song, but not enough that I want it to like magically appear in my shuffle. But yeah, Fall Out Boy's so good.
Yeah, I think my favorite Fall Out Boy song is This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. I
Yeah.
love that song so much. Like anytime I play it on full volume and
Yep.
I'm just like screaming it.
I remember for that song, I followed an animator on YouTube, which I don't think she does YouTube anymore, which makes me really sad. She used to animate a lot of Dan and Phil stuff, which is why I started following her
Mhm.
in the first place. But she did, I think it was a video of like songs that like made her picture like weird things, and one of them was that song because it was an arms race, so she literally
Yeah.
like animated a bunch of like arms racing against each other. It was absolutely hilarious. I died on the floor for like good 20 minutes just laughing.
That song is, like, just a classic. I love, like, just putting that song on full volume in my car and just screaming it and watching the people stare at me as I drive by them, like, "What is she doing?"
And
I
you're
mean,
like,
that's anytime I drive because
yes.
I always am, like, screaming songs and, like,
Yeah.
playing them so loud.
My favorite is because when the weather's nice, I drive with the windows down. So I have
Oh,
the
yeah, me
windows
too.
down and the music cranked all the way up, and I am singing to the top of my lungs, and it's so funny. 'Cause some people will look, and some people like I'll see them kind of like turn their head a little bit and then turn back and then turn, and I'm like, you might as well just stare. But it's always
Yeah.
like again like an emo song or like freaking Metallica song or something that like if you looked at my tiny little blue Subaru and this little five
I'd be
foot
like, "What
two
the
woman
heck?"
sitting in the front seat, you're like, that doesn't match.
I'm like, "What is going on over there?"
Yeah. They're like, is she okay? And the answer is
Yeah, see, I feel like people when they look at me, they're like, "Okay, that makes sense," but, like, looking at my car, they're probably like, "This nerd," because my car is, like,
anime
decked out in anime
stickers.
stickers, like,
Mm.
front to back, I just have stickers on, like, every single window, so they're like, "This weird anime chick is listening to death metal and emo music, like, what is happening over
And you're
here?"
like,
And I
heck
live in a
yeah.
very small, like, country town, so, like, people are just like, "Okay." It's like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, I'm, like, driving to work, just chilling. It's fine, it's fine. It wakes me up.
Yes. It gets you mentally prepared for the day to deal with
Yes.
people.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna flip the question on you. What's your favorite MCR song?
So my favorite album
Mm-hmm.
is 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. I have that tattoo on my leg, and probably my favorite song from them is,
Oh, I like that one. That's a good song.
because and I also have the lyrics from that on my leg too because it's just such a good song. But that album I can listen to, like, front to back without and, like, skipping any songs, like, it's my favorite album.
Mm, yeah,
Obviously a classic, Welcome to the Black Parade, you hear that G note, all the
yeah.
emos come
And you cry.
flocking. That band is on my bucket list to see. I didn't get to see them when they toured last time because
uh,
they, like, had just gotten back together, and then so the hype was, like, up in the air, so
Super
tickets were
high,
just,
yeah.
like, so expensive. I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry if you hear my cat, she's very needy.
She's welcome to the podcast.
She wants to talk about emo music too.
Yeah, she's emo on the inside.
Yeah. But that is definitely, like, one of my all-time, like, bucket list album or, artists to see because
Yeah.
they're just I did see Frank Iroh. He is their rhythm guitarist. So when they broke up,
Mm.
he kinda did his own solo thing, like, he had his own band.
Yeah, okay.
It was called Frank
Yeah. I
Iroh
remember
and
the
the
name.
yeah, it's called Frank Iroh and the Future Violence, I think, and so I I think I was wearing I have a Frank Iroh shirt, and I think
Mhm.
I was wearing it to work one day when I worked at Hot Topic, and somebody was like, "You know, he's playing in Portland in, like, a week," and I was like, "What?" And the tickets were, like, $30 general admission, this small venue, so
Yeah.
I got tickets and I went and saw him, and it was great. I was like, "This is awesome," because
Oh
I
my god, that's so cool.
yeah, so that, like, part of my, like, emo MCR heart was fulfilled by seeing one band member, but I would love to see them all. Have you seen Fall Out Boy in concert? You've seen so many concerts. I
No.
can't keep up.
No, I haven't, but every time they go on tour, I'm like, "Do I do it?" And then their dates I feel like the last time their dates were sometime during, like, the fall, which is the worst time to have a concert because I can't normally get any extra days off, and typically when they're in LA, it tends to be a weekday,
Mhm.
and I'm like, can you do it on a Sunday that I always have off, please?"
Yeah, yeah. I know there's
But,
so many
they
bands
are
touring this year, it's insane. I'm like,
yeah.
"I don't have the
Yeah.
financial stability for this."
Exactly. Yes. And it's they can't do like all of my favorite people will go on tour the same year.
Yeah,
They can't spread it out a little
no.
bit. And I'm like and I know Fall Out Boy is touring this I think it's this year,
Mhm.
end of this year slash beginning of next year. And I always think about going, but I haven't even looked at when their dates are. But I've already forked out the money for a supernatural convention for my 30th birthday. So I will be going to that. And I just came back from a very long trip in the UK. So I've spent a lot of money this year, and this year is only halfway over. So
We're only in July.
I should. Yeah, we're only July, and I've spent a lot of money, so I should stop.
Yeah, yeah, no, I keep looking every time I go on, like, TikTok or Instagram, I see, like, a band being like, "We're on tour," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I just have to go and look." Like, I am already, like, on I don't know if I mentioned this previously, but I'm seeing Avenged Sevenfold and Bad Omens, and they play back to back. So,
Yeah, you got to go like across the
yeah,
top of the state there.
yeah, I have to go to Phoenix and then to Vegas, and I'm like, that is already going to kill me, just that trip alone.
Just the travel.
Yeah, just the travel and then, like, I got old lady knees, so, like, standing
Yeah.
at, like, concert venue for however many hours and then traveling and then standing at another concert venue for however many hours might actually kill me, might put me in my grave.
Yeah, and then you and then you gotta like freaking climb the stairs to your seat half the time,
Yeah,
and I'm
I'm
just
like,
like, oh no. And I hate because when you get there, just like a stitch late, like everybody's in their seats. So not only do you have to climb the stairs, and then you gotta climb
yeah,
over
you're like, "Excuse me,
everybody,
pardon me."
and you gotta like awkward shuffle in front of people, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I went and
Blech.
saw ooh, I went and saw so this was in 2017. I did a lot of concerts that year, and I saw Metallica and Avenged Sevenfold was opening, so that's, like, really why I saw them. But I had a broken leg, and I had to,
Oh
like,
yeah.
shuffle past people and be like, "Excuse me, sorry, I'm gonna kick you with my boot. I'm just trying to get to my seat." Like, I we drove to Seattle and, like, I was like, "I'm not missing this concert. Broken leg or not, we are going."
Yeah, for sure. You're like, "We don't have any choices, we will be
Yeah,
going."
luckily I wasn't on crutches, like, I was in my boot and I was walking around, but, like,
Oh, man.
yeah, walking and it was in the middle of the summer too, which was awful, like, I broke my leg in June.
Ugh.
Um,
See, you and I both break bones during the summers,
yes.
and it's just not a smart move
No,
on
it's
our
not
part,
fun at
really.
all, like, I mean, breaking bones isn't fun anyways, but, like, especially
But
in
the
the summer.
summer makes it so much
And I broke
worse.
my leg the summer that
'Cause
I turned 21, and I was like, "What a terrible time to break your leg."
I broke mine when I turned 18, right before I graduated. I actually didn't even walk across the stage. I can't
Wheeled.
remember who was behind me, but I had to, well, no, I had to, well, they wheeled me out, when you do the procession.
Mhm.
And then, when I had, because, of course, we had to go up on the stage. So I had to, luckily, I had enough upper body strength to, like, get myself up the stairs, but I had to hand my crutches to the person behind me, get up the stairs, and then have them hand them up to me, crutch across the stage, hand them to somebody else so I could take my picture, and then get them back and then crutch down the stairs. It was terrible.
Yeah, but it's not fun. Um, but yeah, that was definitely, like, a memorable concert because I just remember being like, well, broken leg or not, I'm still going." Which is funny
Yeah.
too, like, that summer so I went to the last Warped Tour they ever did too that summer,
I
because I
know.
got my friend knew, um one of the bands playing, and so I got to, like, hang out with them, and so she was like, "Do you wanna go?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And it was super fun, luckily I did that before I broke my leg because I could not imagine doing a Warped Tour.
I was about to say I don't remember you having a
Yeah,
broken
I
leg
broke my
then,
leg,
so.
like, 2 weeks after that, but that was super cool going to the last, like, Warped Tour ever, I wish they would bring that back. Luckily, I
I
was in
know. I'm kind of
Oregon.
surprised they haven't.
Yeah, well, because now they
Yeah.
have, like, the When We Were Young festival, which they're doing again this year,
Yeah.
which I just it's not the same as Warped Tour because Warped Tour is just, like, so cheap to get into, and
And Warped Tour is sponsored, it's by
yeah,
Vans, right?
yeah,
Vans is the main sponsor,
mhm,
so they always came out with, like, special edition, like, Vans and merch and stuff like that, and so, I like that company sponsoring that kind of event.
yeah.
But I'm kinda surprised they haven't done it because you'd think with the success of, like, Coachella and Stagecoach
Yeah, Coachella's been around
that
forever. Warped Tour was such a big thing, and there's still so many bands, like, that are playing together that were then were playing
or
together
that
back
are getting
then.
back
Yeah,
together.
so I'm like, "They should do that because I miss Warped Tour so much." It was so it's, like, literally, like, one of the best experiences was going to Warped Tour, and I was in Oregon, so, it wasn't blazing hot, um, which
Yeah,
was
that's
nice,
true.
because like, yeah, I think that, like, even in, like, when they do the When We Were Young festival, it's, like, October, but it's in Vegas, so it's, like, still super hot.
So it's still
Yeah.
hot, yeah, ugh.
But bring back Warped Tour. Vans, Warped Tour, if you're listening to this,
Bring it
bring
back.
it back.
And then have us as guests, and
Yes.
we'll do a podcast about
Yeah,
it.
we'll talk about Warped Tour.
Or we'll do a podcast at Warp
Yeah,
Tour
about Warped Tour. It'll be
about Warp Tour while
Warpception.
we're at Warp Tour. I think that's the only thing, like, music wise that I really haven't done is like a festival.
Mhm.
Like, I've never been to Coachella or Warp Tour or Stagecoach. I always have friends that talk about going, and I'm like, awesome. And then it never happens because I am the planner of almost every friend group that I'm in, and
Yes.
I'm like, "Look, this is the one thing I don't wanna plan. Please don't make me plan it."
And then they're like, "Well."
I just I the There's a couple of days that I would just like to show up.
Yeah.
Like, just pull up into my driveway, throw me in the car, and just let's go. I don't care what we're doing. I just don't wanna plan it. Just I just need to know what time I need to be ready.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, if I plan something, like, if I'm the one in charge, it's my way or the highway,
Yeah.
which for most people is fine. But I'm like, "We need to be out of the house at this time. I wanna be here by this time, and then we'll leave." I don't care when we leave, it's just, like, the getting there part that I'm like, "Go, go, go," and people are like, "Okay."
I
But for once, I would like to fall asleep in the passenger
I
seat.
always
I'm just
be the
saying.
passenger princess.
Yes, I'm never the passenger
I feel
princess.
like there's always, like, the 2 types of people in friend groups. There's the one that plans everything, and then there's the one that just Venmos you afterwards,
Yep.
and I am that one.
Yes. Yeah. I am the
Yeah.
planner
I'm
every time.
like, "How much was
Every
that?
time.
Okay, I'll Venmo you. Thanks for getting my ticket because I forgot."
Yeah. And like I've been like to situations where I can't even remember where we went, but I know we were going to I was going to a concert with a friend, and she was like, I had to work that day, so I was coming from work. She was off. I had to drive to her house, because she does not live where I live. She lives a couple cities over. I had to drive to her house, and then I got there, and in my mind, I'm going, she's probably not going to even be ready. She wasn't. She
That sounds
wasn't
like
ready.
me.
And I went, this is her trip. This is her concert. She is going to do, I mean, I am not this. No, no. Yeah, I'm not going to say
I'm not gonna
anything. I
intervene.
am going to, I'm not going to intervene. I am literally here to show up and then to get in the car and to have a nice experience. But I don't know what traffic she was looking at, but she was like, "Oh, it's not going to take us that long to get there." And I went, "Oh, cool." And I'm thinking like she checked the traffic like recently. I don't think she did,
She checked it at, like, in the
because
morning when there's nobody
in
on the
the
road.
morning when there's no traffic. And I was like, shouldn't we leave like soonish? And she's like, nah, we'll leave it, in a few more minutes. And it was like 20 minutes later, and we finally got in the car. Oh, so it's when I went to go see Imagine Dragons. And the concert was in LA. It was at the one of the soccer stadiums. I had never been to a concert in this venue before, so I didn't even know how to get there. I didn't know what the parking situation was, but I had told her, I go, buy parking if you can when you buy the tickets, because honestly, that's the way to do
Yeah,
it if you're going to any concert in LA. I don't want to chance parking 2 blocks away at this sketchy parking lot, walking 2 blocks,
and then
getting
having
into the
yeah, and then
concert,
having to
and
go
then having to
back.
walk 2 blocks afterwards. Um, and so she didn't buy parking when she bought the tickets. And I went, okay. And then we were good. Traffic was fine until literally we were gonna get off the freeway. And then all of a sudden there's this giant line of traffic. And I went, get in the line. And she's like, what? I'm like, get in the line of traffic. And she's like, are you sure that's the exit? I go, I can almost guarantee you that that's the
That's where
exit.
they're all going.
It was. It was the exit. Casey, I kid you not, we sat on the freeway for like 3
Oh
hours
my god.
at the freeway exit. We literally had less than half a mile to go, and we sat there for 3
That's
hours
insane.
in the car. Not including the half an hour we had already driven. Like, and I was just like, we're gonna miss it. We're gonna miss the concert at this point, right? And so I was like, we sat, I think, at the actual freeway exit for 2 hours, and
God.
then I was like, because yeah, it was so bad. But like, we every time she was like, should we get out of line? It inched forward
You're like, "No.
like 2 car
No."
lengths, and I'm like, no, no, we're gonna stay. If we keep this up, then we will be there faster than we think we will. And then it just didn't happen. And I was like, get out of line. She said, what? I'm like, get out of line. So we get out of line. We go to the next freeway exit, which also has a line because that's what everybody else is
Right, they're
doing.
like, "Oh, well,
But we
go to the
got,
next one."
yeah, it took us like 20 minutes to get off of that freeway exit. And we're sitting there texting. She had a couple other friends that were inside already because they had different tickets or whatever, and they were telling us, oh yeah, this opening act is on. Imagine Dragons normally has 2 opening acts, so we missed the first one completely.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The second opening act was Malcolmore, and I'm like, okay, cool. We'll still get to see him. We did not. We did not get to see Malcolmore. Not even 1 second out of his song. And I'm like, okay. And then she was like, do we park in this sketchy park? Like every sketchy parking lot we passed, it was like
Yeah,
$90
it's
to park.
crazy. They
And I'm like, no.
It's extortion.
Yeah. And I'm like, and I don't even know, like, if it's a good place to park, if they're going to be open by the time we get out there. Cause I've heard horror stories where people's cars get locked inside. Um, and I'm like, no, we're just going to see if there's actual parking at the venue. It's a soccer stadium. There's got to be a ton of parking. And so we get there, and the actual parking was $70. Like, oh my God. And I keep looking at the time, and we get a text from her friend saying, well, Macklemore just finished performing. And I was like, Christine, if we don't park in the next
We gotta
15
go.
minutes, I'm going to scream. So we finally get in the parking lot. I literally grab all our stuff. We slam the doors and we run. And I mean, she ran, I jogged because I don't run. But we're trying not to get hit by the cars coming in. There's people in our way that are just moseying about. We're trying to figure out how the frick to get into the stadium. And and then she was like, we had maybe like, I don't know, 15 minutes to spare. And I was like, I'm getting in the merchandise line because I'm not doing this after the concert.
Yeah.
I've tried getting merch after a concert once and I went, never again. I am never doing this again. So I got on the merch line and she's like, well, I'm starving. I go, you are welcome to stand in the food line, but I'm going to get my merchandise first. So I got my t-shirt and my other things. And then she ended up getting a t-shirt and all that because I stood in line. Literally, we got our food, got to our seats. Imagine Dragons just walked on stage. And I was like, oh my God. I am never letting anybody
That's why you're the
plan
planner.
anything. That's why I'm a planner because every time I don't plan, it just falls apart and I can't, my poor little brain cannot
It
handle
just
that
loses
stress.
function. You're like, I
It's like
can't do
secondhand
it.
stress and I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's how, like, I am not the planner, and so, like, I am going to I'm going to the Bad Omens concert with my other friend, and I'm going to Avenged Sevenfold by myself. So we'll see how that goes because I'm not a planner, and so me doing 2 concerts with me being the primary planner, we'll see how that goes
Yeah.
because we all know I don't do very well. At least I bought my tickets,
Oh,
okay?
you did buy your ticket.
The important
Yeah.
part.
And not the morning of,
Yeah.
like, you bought it in
Yeah.
advance with everybody
So,
else.
we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll do a podcast on
Ugh.
that after, and we'll update.
Yeah, we'll podcast your experience, and
Yeah.
we'll see how that went.
But, I mean, at least you made it. At least you made it to the concert. All was
Yeah,
well.
I was literally gonna break down if I missed Imagine
Yeah.
Dragons.
Like, this
I
is
was gonna
what I
break down
wanted to go
because,
for.
yeah, I'm like, no, I can't. My poor little brain and my heart cannot handle that. I think that's probably the worst concert experience I've ever had.
Pre-concert, because the concert
And
was good, right?
pre-concert, the concert was amazing. Except for the fact that the people like 2 rows in front of us had a vape.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and like if you vape, whatever, but for one, don't do it when you have a whole crowd of people behind you. But also, two, they were really obnoxious about it, and it was just like big puff up both because there's 2 of them doing it. So just like fog that you couldn't see through like about every 10 minutes, and I'm like, dude, come on, you're ruining everybody else's experience around
Like, I
you.
just wanna watch the concert, not through a cloud.
Yes, and I mean, we were in the cheaper seats, but not the cheap
Mhm.
seats. So I'm like, dude, we all paid like good money to be here. I
Yeah.
need you to not do that. But we had a great time, and it was actually because it was a soccer stadium, so it was like outside.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, like LA is like one of the most perfect places to have stuff outside at night because it's so nice outside.
Yeah, that sounds real nice.
And they got to have like fireworks and everything. It was really
I
cool.
think that's how it was when I saw Metallica. We went It was at, like, a baseball stadium in Seattle, and we also had to park, like, we parked super far away, um, and the parking was still, like, $80, and I'm like, "This is insane." Um,
Mhm.
just to park here for a couple hours? Okay. I
Yeah.
guess. And then I had to trot along with my broken leg down the street of Seattle. Um, I feel like in cities like LA or Seattle or Portland, like,
Mhm.
the traffic and the parking situation just stresses me out so much. I'm like, I don't
Oh
know,
my gosh, I
like,
know.
I'm going like, the ones I'm going to in October are both at, like, hotels, or, like, yeah, so
Oh!
one's at, like, a hotel, but they all have an amphitheater there, and then the other one is at
Yeah.
a hotel in Vegas, and they also have an amphitheater there, so, like, it's a little less stressful trying to figure that out, but, like, if I'm in, like, a
Yeah.
downtown area, forget about it, like,
Oh my god.
I'm
Yeah.
not driving, I'm not dealing with that, I'll cry.
Yeah. That's why, like, I've been to enough concerts that when they say, "Oh, do you wanna buy parking now?" I
Yes.
go, "Yes." The only time I won't do that is now that I know is the Hollywood Bowl,
Yeah.
because you can part they
Oh,
have,
yeah, we did, like, the
like, if for
zoo.
those of you yeah, for those of you who don't know, there are several places you can park for the Hollywood Bowl that's not at the bowl. Like, we parked at the LA Zoo. I think there's also one near Universal. If you go to the bowl's website, it'll tell you. But you literally park and then you get on a bus and the bus will take you and drop you off right in front of the bowl.
Mhm. That was a good
And
move,
then at
yeah.
the end of the concert, you get back on the bus, they take you back to where you parked, you get in your car and you drive away.
Yeah, and then you don't have to deal with the crowd and the traffic and people trying to cross the street and
And
leave.
parking at the bowl, if you're the first one there, you're gonna be the last one
Yeah.
to leave because they brick you in. Unless you get super lucky and the people around you leave before you get there. But if the people around you are one of those peoples that just kind of dilly dally their way out, you're gonna be stuck there for a long time.
Mhm.
And the one thing nice about parking at the zoo is the 5 freeway entrance is literally across the street. Like, it's right there. It's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good move.
Other than that, I will buy parking when I buy my tickets because it's just easier to know that I have guaranteed parking.
Yeah. Like, let's make it easy on everybody.
Yeah, and I think probably the best parking experience I've had is out of all places the YouTube theater down in LA. I can't remember. It's also connected to a stadium, a soccer stadium, I think. Um, But I went to go see Big Time Rush there. But their parking lot structure, it's not a structure, it's just a flat lot, but like the way it's set up is so nice. It's super easy, super convenient. Um, and it was fast and easy to get out too, which was
Yeah,
great.
those are always the best.
Um, yeah, but yeah, concert parking is just
It's insane.
a whole
Yeah.
nother.
Very insane.
Yeah. That's why, like, if I go to a concert, I try to go to the same venue I've already been to
Yeah.
because then I
You're like,
know
"I
how
know
the
I
parking
know how this
works.
works." Yeah.
Because the only time I think I've been to, is it the Honda Center
Oh, in Anaheim?
in Anaheim
Mhm.
where the whatchamacallit plays most of the year? Um, I've been to two concerts there, but one time I went with one of my friends from college. It's when I saw Imagine Dragons the first time, and I was so thankful because one, my aunt lives down the
Mm.
street,
Mhm.
so I got dropped off there, and I stayed the night, and then my friend came and picked me up, and then she dropped me back off there, so that was nice. And then two, my friend's mom picked me up, and then dropped us both off right in front, so we didn't have to
My
deal with
gosh,
parking.
what an angel. It's always the best.
I know. And then when she picked us up, she had dinner for
Oh my
us. And
god.
I'm like, oh my God, you're
Amazing.
the best. It was awesome. But then the second concert I saw there was when I went to go see One Republic. And I literally bought those tickets the morning of. So there was no option to buy parking. But their parking is actually really easy,
Mhm.
and it was so weird because the navigator took us in the back way, and my mom and I were driving because it's just like a normal like industrial center street, and I'm like, maybe it's wrong, but no, there's a tiny little entrance to get in through the back with no line, and I was
Like,
like,
"This
oh,
is the way to go. We're
okay,
doing this."
yeah, yeah, but oh my gosh, yeah, I hate parking in cities.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun, but concerts are fun, so
Concerts are amazing. The only thing though is a lot of the smaller bands that I like do standing room only,
yeah.
and my old lady knees can't handle that.
That's what I'm doing in October for both of them.
Oh
So
no.
we'll see. We'll see how that goes. 'Cause, it'll be interesting. I took the
Oi.
next day off of work too
Yeah.
because I was like, "I need a recovery day."
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh my god. I've done where I've gone to a concert and then had to get up the next day and go to work.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it is. And most of the time I will request to close instead of open so I don't have to be up early, but my body is still not fully
Yeah, it's like,
recovered by
"I
1:30 in
can't.
the afternoon.
I
So
can't do this."
it's still just as bad. And I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. Oh, I can't believe you're going to do two standing
Yeah,
concerts.
I don't know what
That's
I
too
don't know
much.
who I think I am, but we'll see. It'll be
Younger,
yeah, I
obviously.
think I'm, like, in my early 20s, but I'm actually in my late 20s. Um, I tried to convince my coworker to go with me. She's, like, in her 30s, and she was like, "I am not doing that." And I was like, "I don't blame you." I'm crazy, and they're 2 of my favorite bands that just happen to be playing back to back, which is, like,
Oh my
I couldn't
god, yeah.
choose between one or the other. And I'm like, I love
Yeah.
them both so much, like and I've only seen Avenged once, and they were opening, so I obviously have to see them headlining.
Yeah. And then like with older bands too, you don't know like if they're going to tour
Yeah,
again, if they're going to, so it's like you got to see it now.
because the last time they toured was in 2017, which was, like, so long ago,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
haven't released new music, so I'm like, "I have to see them," and in 2017, when they were touring, they were opening, so it's like, I have to see them. I will just complain a lot the next few days, and everybody else that's
Yes.
just gonna be everybody else's problem, not mine.
You're like it is what it is. I'm so sorry, but I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry, and you get to hear me complain, but I don't care.
I was thankful the one time I did a standing room only concert. I've only done one and it was at the House of Blues in Anaheim.
Mhm.
And I took my brother with me. So he, I think, had just turned 18. And I drove us. It was just me and him. It was so much fun. But I was very thankful that he was with me because he's taller than I am.
Yeah.
I like, because, they just like open the floodgates
Yeah.
basically and let everybody file in at the same time. And so he like stayed really close behind me as I beelined towards the front. And me, and it's like, because there was two people standing next to us was also a short girl and a tall guy, and it was a brother sister duo, which I thought was hilarious. But like we both beeline to the front, and then both of our brothers just like stood behind us so that everybody else would like keep off. And I'm like, yeah, brothers for the win.
Yeah, I've done a lot of the, like, general admission standing concerts.
But you're
I
tall.
am tall.
You're tall, so at least like if there's like somebody like me in front of you, you can still
That's true,
see.
that's true. I am
But
5'9",
I
so
always get stuck. Yeah, I always get stuck behind the people that are like 6 foot, and I'm like, why would you stand in front of me? Why would you even sit in front of me? Because you're still taller than I
Yeah.
am when you're sitting.
When I went and saw, so when I went to beauty school in Portland, our school sponsored an event. They do it. I think they still do it every year, but it's like a December to remember. It's in Portland. They do it at the Crystal Ballroom, and it's like a charity event. And
Hmm.
so, our school sponsored it and or sponsored part of it, and so they got to pick people to go they got to go to the concert, and then all we had to do was like hand out coupons afterwards.
Oh.
So me and my friend went to see Billie Eilish back before she was, like, super, super, super big. Um, and
Yeah.
that was a general admission, like, standing room, um, and I'm pretty sure I was, like, the oldest person in that room, and, besides, like, the parents, but it
Yeah.
was just, like, a bunch of, like, preteen teenagers just crowding around you, and I'm like, "I oh, get away from me." Everybody's hot and sweating, like, you have so much other people's
Yeah.
sweat on your body, and I'm like, "I need a shower right now." But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. That was before she got, like, super popular, so that was really cool to see her at, like, a really small venue, but that was fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm very excited for the end of the year. We'll see. Again, I'll update later on.
Yeah. I think the only opening act I remember that's now like super famous is Halsey opened for Imagine Dragons the first time I saw them. And she was just this little like one person act. But I think that was pretty much it cuz I don't remember who opened for Taylor Swift when I saw her back in the day when she was still country.
Okay.
I saw her on her Fearless tour, which was really cool for whatever reason. I can't even remember why, but my dad's friend had box seats at the Staples Center to
Oh,
see her, and he was like, does your family want to go?" And he was like, "Sure." So me, my mom, and my brother went, and there was snacks. It was delicious.
snacks are always great, especially at a concert.
I know, because if you have to buy them yourself, it's
Yeah.
expensive. But a lot that was the one thing I liked when we went and saw One Republic at the Honda Center, um, because it's a stadium, like they host like sports. So they had all the good sports bar snacks. So we got like a pretzel and cheese and soda, and they had Coca-Cola products.
Who's the best?
So I had a Dr. Pepper, even though Dr. Pepper's not technically Coca Cola, but they tend to go hand in
Yeah.
hand. But I had my soda and it was delicious. And it was nice and cold in there. I hate when concerts are warm.
Yeah, which is like all the standing concerts. Just so hot
Yeah.
and sweaty.
Yeah, they're like, you guys don't need AC. And I'm like, please turn on the AC. It's so hot. We've been talking for almost
Yeah.
an hour now.
We have been. We do love
Started
music.
talking off about emos, and now we're talking about concerts. Yes, both of you and I just music all the time.
Yes.
Like, I remember when um my old boss got promoted and my new boss came in, which he had worked at my store when he was just a senior manager, so he was coming back as a store manager, and I play music in the if I get there before the store opens, I'll play music on my, phone or whatever. And then when we close, I'll play music for everybody to jam out to. And he closed with me one night and I was like, "May I play music?" Because I had never closed with him at that point.
Please.
And he was like, "Do you need music?" And I went, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And then he didn't say anything and I was just like, Okay, you didn't give me an answer, so I'm gonna play it."
Yeah.
But I was just like, I can't like I've been listening, I think I've mentioned this before. I've been listening to the same Christian soundtrack for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
I
You're like, I need
have
to
to
change it up.
I can't. Like during the day, I tend to tune it out because I'm talking to people or like there's just the general ambient noise of the store. But like at night when I'm trying to zone out and just recover the store so I can leave, I can't do the same music.
Yeah. I
I
feel
just
that.
can't.
I feel that.
So bad. Okay, well, I guess we'll wrap this episode up here because it's been almost
And
an
almost
hour.
an hour. Do all the things. Follow all the things.
Yeah.
Like all the things. Comment, review all the things.
Yes. Don't forget to tune in. We're going to be uploading every Tuesday. Podcasty things below. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram because we will ask you guys about what we should talk about next. See your comments and opinions. I think if I remember correctly, you can comment on the podcast here. I know I can add questions and polls, so be on the lookout for those after each episode. And thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.